What 21-year-old Ricardo Lopez's neighbors didn't know is that he had an obsession. An obsession with alternative rock singer Björk, Goodman's daughter. An obsession which in the end cost Lopez his life.
She apparently was dating a black man and that was unacceptable to him.
A message scrawled on the wall alerted police to a videotape. Lopez constructed a device designed to spray sulfuric acid on the singer. Lopez documented it all on videotape.
Today, we'll talk about Björk's stalker, Ricardo Lopez. Before we delve into the details, I just want to warn you that the events we're going to discuss today are disturbing. Lopez's obsession with Björk led him to delusional and dangerous actions, which he documented in more than 800 diary pages and over 22 hours of disturbing recordings. Some clips are included in this video.
I'm just gonna have to kill him.
This story brings light to issues such as stalking, mental health, self-harm, and even racism. Hence, viewer discretion is strongly advised. Our story begins with Björk, born on November 21st, 1965 in Reykjavik, Iceland's capital and largest city. She was raised by her mother, an environmental activist, and the two eventually moved to a commune. At 6, Björk began studying music, more specifically classical piano and the flute. Her talent was noticed early when her teacher submitted a recording of her singing to a local radio station, and she recorded her first album at 11. In her teenage years and early adulthood, she formed a few bands and worked on releasing music in collaboration with other artists. During the mid-1980s, Björk was a member of a band called Kukul, which enjoyed some success in Europe and released 2 albums before disbanding. She then joined another band called the Sugar Cubes, which helped her gain visibility in the UK and in the US. By the late 1980s, the band toured the US and even appeared on SNL. By their final concert in 1992, Rolling Stone magazine had dubbed Sugar Cubes, quote, the biggest rock band to emerge from Iceland. In the early 90s, Björk moved to London to pursue her solo career, and that's where she released her first single, Human Behavior, from her debut solo album, Debut. The critics highly praised it. Björk is a big f***ing deal in the music industry, and she was already at the top of her game when she released her first real solo album. Parallel to Björk's journey to stardom was another story unfolding on the other side of the world. Ricardo Lopez was born in Montevideo, the capital and largest city of Uruguay, in 1975. He was born with Klinefelter syndrome, a genetic condition characterized by having an extra X chromosome, which typically results in infertility. Lopez and his family relocated to Georgeville, Georgia, in the United States. People who knew him describe him as easygoing. He was also an introvert and had low self-esteem. Despite having a few close male friends, he found it difficult to make female friends. By 1992, now aged 17, Ricardo Lopez, a high school dropout, aspired to become a famous artist. This is when he became obsessed with celebrity culture. In 1993, Lopez began to write a journal to document his life. During the same year, he watched Björk perform on television and became obsessed with her. He started to compulsively gather information about her life and career and even sent her several fan letters. Lopez recorded in his diary that Björk had profoundly changed his life. He expressed his desire to travel back to the 1970s to befriend her as a child. Additionally, he wrote about his insecurities, including being overweight and having gynecomastia. He also lamented his struggles in finding a girlfriend. According to Stalking, Threatening and Attacking Public Figures, a psychological and behavioral analysis published by the Oxford University Press, Lopez's diary contains 168 references to his feelings of failure, 34 references to suicide, 14 references to murder, and 408 references to Björk. During the early and mid-90s in London, Björk's popularity in the music industry continued to rise. However, her relationships were often scrutinized and publicized due to her fame. Björk briefly dated two musicians between 1995 and 1996. The first was Tricky, best known for being an early member of the British band Massive Attack. In a 2013 interview, he admitted that he was not good for Björk. As a result, the pair did not date for long. But the following year, Björk started dating Goldie, a musician, producer, and DJ. At the time, Björk was unaware that her relationships with two black men had angered a superfan on the other side of the world. Back in America, Ricardo Lopez still entertained the dream of becoming famous. He was now living in Hollywood, Florida, where his obsession with Björk turned dangerously unhealthy. In 1996, he began recording his thoughts on video, which captured his deteriorating mental state. Starting from this point in the video, we have access to actual footage of Lopez. This footage consists of over 20 hours of recorded evidence that allows us to reconstruct the events of that year when he was most obsessed with Björk.
My tape is almost up. Well, here's a sculpture which I'm creating with Björk. This is the first tape that I'm showing you.
Lopez can be seen recording himself reading poems and discussing various topics, including his views on race, particularly regarding interracial couples.
We stopped by, there was a couple, beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed girl, She must have been like 15 or 16. She was with, a fucking nigger, he was like 20-something, big motherfucker too, man. Muscles, the package deal, And I guess all of us were threatened by the fact of, him being with that white girl, Not threatened as far as, we can't kick his ass because everybody's just walking back his blood. But, we just like stopped the car and we just looked, We were all like 15 or something like that, same grade. And it was, what the fuck, what? You got a problem? And we all went like this, fucking nigger, like that.
It is undeniable that race plays a role in the events at hand. Lopez was particularly angry about Björk's relationships with black men and vowed to punish her for it.
She's fucking a nigger. Can you believe that? Yes. Fucking nigger. That's unacceptable.
This is where our story takes a turn. Angered by Björk's relationships, Lopez planned to construct and send her a bomb filled with hypodermic needles containing HIV-tainted blood.
Is what I'm doing an act of vengeance because of this? I'm not exactly sure, but I am going to destroy her. I like the AIDS thing.
He went as far as building a prototype out of a pizza box. It's all on tape. But in a subsequent video entry, he appeared to have second thoughts and decided to back off.
Well, as far as my project, I've already abandoned the idea of killing her. I don't want nothing to do with it. I guess it was just a stage or something. I was really determined to do that. Good thing heads cooled off and things prevail. I no longer desire to destroy her, no matter what she does. I guess I'm accepting the fact that she can do what she wants. As far as I mean, she's a grown woman, and sex is not anything, out of this world. Everybody has sex. If there wasn't sex, I wouldn't be born. And besides it being a black guy,
But this snap back to reality moment did not last long. A few recordings later, Lopez details a new plan. This time, he planned to construct and send Björk a letter bomb in a hollowed out book. His device was designed to disfigure or kill Björk with sulfuric acid. Lopez's video diary documents the construction process of his murder device.
And organizing all my stuff here. Really proud of what I did here with that's the butane, the glues, you name it. I got everything in there. Well, I'm going to show you what I've done today. I'm making the support for the hook of this thing. Remember this? Okay. That's going to slide in here. It's pretty complicated. But I like the construction that I'm making. I'm going to be adding some upper levels here. What a nice book. An accounting book. Oh. Isn't this nice? Very nice. What do you think of this? Dun, 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 dun. Nice, huh? You likes? No, I have a weight problem now. That's where it's all gonna happen, right here. Boom! Never realized how difficult it was to cut a straight line on cloth.
You probably wonder why Ricardo Lopez voluntarily documented his murder plot. Well, he wanted to be united with Björk in heaven. The plan was to mail the murder device to Björk and then commit suicide. Lopez documented himself purchasing a gun.
Okay, how you doing? I'm about to go shopping for guns. There's a place right here, Hollywood Boulevard, perfect place. They say they sell guns there. Let's see. A date that will live in infamy. Yes, my friends, like I said I would, I walked over there and I purchased the Taurus 38 caliber revolver. $210, very cheap. It's a 4-inch barrel, stainless steel. I will pick it up Friday, which is 72 hours after the purchase date. I had the balls to do it. I was not nervous. I went over there, gave the guy the money, they did the background check on me. Everything worked out great.
Videos also show him practicing shooting with a BB gun on a self-portrait he painted. He also recorded himself testing his murder device using black ink instead of acid. You can see him testing it on a drawing supposed to represent Björk, and typing a well-thought-out letter to include with the package, hoping Björk would believe it was a screenplay for her consideration. These recordings are disturbing and are getting increasingly worse as we continue watching. You may also be disturbed to know that Lopez described his murder-suicide plot as a form of art. Perhaps that's why he's recording it all. We later see him add acid to his device, seal it, package it, and eventually head out to mail it. After sending the package to Björk, Lopez began carrying out the final phase of his plan. However, I must warn you that the remaining parts of this video are disturbing and may be unsettling to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Upon his return from the post office, Lopez, who held the belief that his murder-suicide was a form of art, decided to stage his death. He shaved his head, eyebrows, and beard before painting his face. He also left a note on the wall for the FBI. It read, "The 8mm videos are documentation of a crime. Terrorists matter. They are for the FBI." Lopez then sat in front of the camera. In view behind him was a whiteboard with the mention, "The Best of Me." In the background of the footage, you can hear Björk's cover of "I Remember You." And when the song ended, he pulled the trigger. Unbeknownst to Lopez, Björk and Goldie split a few days prior. Lopez's body was found 4 days later. After finding a message on the wall, the police reviewed the recordings. As a result, they contacted Scotland Yard to alert them about the package that had been sent to Björk. Fortunately, the Metropolitan Police intercepted the package in South London before reaching its intended recipient. Lopez's video diaries were eventually released to journalists. This led to a media circus. This led Björk to pause the recording session for her upcoming album, Homogenic. Björk publicly acknowledged her distress due to the incident and hired security personnel to escort her son to and from school. Despite the distressing nature of the incident, Björk remained a total class act. She sent a card and flowers to Lopez's family before heading to Spain to finish recording her album, away from UK tabloids. She later said, quote, "I was very upset that somebody had died. I could not sleep for a week, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't scare the fuck out of me, that I could get hurt, and most of all, that my son could get hurt." By the way, if you're unwell, help is a call away. Thank you so much for watching. Click the top link for my own experience with a stalker and click the bottom link for more content.